Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you guys are new here, my name is Dana. I am a homeschooling mama to 4 little ones. And on my channel, I love sharing about our homeschooling journey, which is what we're going to kind of be talking about today, as well as simple living, biblical motherhood, parenting, and everything in between. But if that is something that interests you, I'd love to have you join our family, and you can do so by subscribing down below. So homeschooling, I love talking all things homeschooling. I love talking about curriculum, what's working, what's not working. I love talking about different methods, different ideas, and ways to implement things to make things run smoother. Morning routines, afternoon morning, all the routines. I love talking about it. But today I thought I would share with you guys a little bit of a different perspective, specifically when it comes to homeschooling with that toddler and baby. This is something, in all transparency, that I've always kind of struggled with, and I've never felt like I had a good handle on how to really homeschool well and peacefully with a toddler and a baby, or in those seasons of a toddler and a newborn. And it's funny because I've homeschooled my kids from the beginning, and my oldest is in 2nd grade. So when I first started homeschooling him, I had just like a preschooler with a baby, and then with those two, I had like 2 little kindergarten, preschool, and then an infant. And then now I have the 2nd grader, a 1st grader, a toddler who just turned 3, and then a 16-month-old. So I guess 2 toddlers instead of a toddler and a baby. But something I've learned along the way, and something that I've seen as a common denominator to the days where I'm just struggling the hardest, when it comes to homeschooling with a toddler and a baby, the days where I am struggling the most and when I am most frazzled or the most, I don't know, just kind of like disjointed, I guess you could say, are the days that my toddler and baby are just fine, but it's the days where I, as a mama, something has either stolen my peace, something has crowded in and taken hold of it being like important, when in reality nothing is more important than the walls of our home and the people within the walls of our home. And so today I wanted to share with you some practical things that I do love implementing when it comes to homeschooling with a toddler and a baby or an infant. In whatever season of life you're in, homeschooling with little ones can always be a challenge. So a few of the things I wanted to share with you are practical, but I kind of wanted to also wrap up the video at the end with just some encouragement of the biggest lesson that I've learned when it comes to homeschooling with those little tiny beautiful people. So the few things that I do implement on a daily basis that do make a night and day difference, they're probably all things that are very familiar to you, or that you've heard probably a lot of other mamas talk about when it comes to those challenging moments of, homeschooling with having a toddler and a baby, around and wanting mama as well. The first thing that I always do, and I've shared this before, if you follow me over on Instagram as well, I've shared it multiple times, and the thing that makes the biggest difference is making sure that my toddler and their baby, their bellies are full and their love tanks are full, or however you want to call it, before we even sit down and do our reading lessons. Because I've learned that if I sit down and I'm trying to teach 2 school-age kiddos either reading or math or language arts or anything like that, and I have a toddler and a baby who needs mama's attention, or they maybe just need some snacks and things like that, that it can be very, I don't know, it can make the whole morning go awry. I'm sure you know what I mean. But when you're sitting down having that reading lesson and all of you hear is like, Mommy, I need this, watch this, I need a snack. So something that I always have to do is make sure that my toddlers, or not, I shouldn't say toddler and baby now, toddlers, plural, just making sure that their bellies are nice and full, they have their snacks, their bottles of water are filled up and ready to go, and their love tanks are full. And what I mean by that is that quality one-on-one time. So with my 16-month-old, that might be cuddling with mama, nursing, baby wearing, putting her into her morning nap on me before we start. And then for my 3-year-old, that also means that it's snack time has been had. We've had time to do some read alouds. We've had time to work on her speech therapy games and activities. We have time to do dress up dollies or whatever it is that she wants to do that I know fills her cup up, to where then, if they are happy and content, typically if I have filled their cups, they're good for probably a solid hour before needing mama's undivided attention again. So one thing I have always loved doing is filling their cups up first, because it does not matter how many activities I have pulled out, how many books I have pulled out for them ready to go during school. If their love cup and their bellies are not full before we start, it's still going to be that fight for like mama's attention, especially when they're babies, because really mama is their comfort. Mama is who they like want to be with. And I love that, and so learning to fill that up for them first before I then move over here and do a reading has been a huge night and day difference, honestly, since the beginning of my homeschooling journey, is making sure that they are filled up and just, yeah, full of all the good things before we start reading. Another couple of things, and I'm not going to talk too much on what activities I like to implement in my homeschool, because I have made a couple videos in the past about different activities, or about different activities that my toddlers love, and I will have that video linked down below if you want very specific activities or ideas when it comes to implementing. I will also say, and one of you guys actually mentioned in one of my past videos where I was talking about this was just a struggle of mine, one of you guys actually mentioned getting secondhand items and keeping those items aside and just keeping them just for homeschool. And I did that this past week, and it's a learning curve, but it's also amazing. So when I have all these little knickknacks, the little treasures that they can play with but only set aside for school, they love it, they look forward to it, they know that this is their special moment because they get a special bin of little things that is just for school. So thank you to the mama who reminded me of this, because it is such an affordable way as well to get some new items that are fun and exciting, especially if you just go into a thrift store. I know Goodwill has a lot of those like grab bags for $2.99 to $4.99, and they're full of all kinds of little tiny things where once they are worn out or they are done and they're not interested in it anymore, I don't feel bad throwing it away to get rid of it, to keep the clutter at bay. But implementing things like that, where you have a tub of little special treasures where they know it's the school box, it makes them look forward to it and it keeps them entertained. Another thing that I also love implementing are sensory things, just like Play-Doh. I do have a bin set aside where I prefer to make my own Play-Doh only because it lasts longer and it's much more cheaper. But I will set aside some Play-Doh that is only for school time, with the cookie cutters that they love playing with the Play-Doh only for school times. It just gives them something to look forward to, and they enjoy it, and they feel like they're a part of the exciting, like, let's start school type of a thing. Because for us right now, and at this point you will have already known that we implemented a few morning things in our home, whether that be our morning virtues, our morning binder, and creating little binders for my toddlers as well. But one thing that I've learned with them is to get them excited with them for the morning with my first and second grader. Like, get them excited to be learning, excited to be a part of the unit, and that always helps. And having a little toddler printable binder that looks just like their older siblings, but it has, you know, their stuff in it. I'm going to do another video on our morning menus here. Not binders, menus. I should have said menus in an upcoming video, but that just makes them feel so included and so special, and like they are part of our homeschool learning experience. So that's been a huge thing as far as just different ideas and things that have just worked really well for us. Honestly, is implementing these things helps them feel included, make them look excited, filling them up first before I even sit down, and that honestly just saves so much frustration for me. And then I'm going to go into the part here of the biggest lesson I've been learning is we can have all the sensory bins, we can have all the activities, all of the snacks, and I mentioned snacks always are a big thing in our home when it comes to homeschooling in the little years. But one thing that has been on my heart a lot, and the whole reason why I wanted to make this video, and that is just that, is we can have all of these beautiful, wonderful sensory things and toys and activities and projects. And like I said, their bellies can be full, and their attentive cups, like their love cups, have been filled up with mommy's undivided attention. But I was like, ... There are always still going to be those moments, not even weekly, but every single day, where they might still want mama, and they might still need attention, and they might still need. And I wanted to talk about this because this is something that I've had to kind of just accept, not in a bad way, but in a way that is, and I mentioned in my last couple of videos, but in a way of complete surrendering to the Lord, the day and what it might hold. Because we can have our plans, we can even have our morning menu and our schedule and the idea of how we might like the morning to go. The dangerous part about we can have a plan for what the day holds, of course, but the dangerous part about kind of idolizing what the day might hold as far as what it might look like with homeschooling with a toddler and a baby only sets us up for so much disappointment, and I know it has for me in the past, and it leads to a lot of frustration. But it's not good frustration, because it's not something that we should even be frustrated at. And I feel like showing the love and the grace to our little people shows them just the love of God at such an early age, and puts such an impression on their heart for God's love, And if we are giving these beautiful, beautiful little people to steward and to point towards Him, is such a beautiful example, and a beautiful way that we can do that is by showing them that love and that grace. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that daily surrendering of, like I just said, our plans for the day. And I've also learned that the way things go and how smooth it goes and how peaceful the morning goes has nothing to do with how my toddler and baby are acting or responding, but 100% how I am feeling for the day. And I've learned really just the past couple of months, honestly, that the biggest thing I can do when it comes to homeschool the toddler and the baby is making sure that I have nothing but the peace of God in my heart and in my soul and in my mind before we start the day. Because if I am, again, cluttered with worries from the outside, it has a way of sneaking in and taking over. And I know every single mama can probably relate, but when you have worries, even if you have worries of your children, or maybe you're not doing enough, or maybe you feel like you're failing in some area, it can easily sneak in and take that joy out. And so something I wanted to encourage you guys in, and something I speak over myself as well, is like when you are getting up in the morning, to fully surrender the day to the Lord, and that it would be His will that everything that happens will happen. And it's not just the daily surrendering either, it's also the embracing of the day as well. And I've mentioned this in the past couple of my videos and over on Instagram as well. But this is the biggest thing I've learned that has completely changed my perspective when it comes to homeschooling with babies and toddlers, and that is to fully embrace it. Because anything that God gives us is a blessing, and children are the biggest blessing. And as I mentioned before, that if children are the biggest blessing, and if I am thankful for it, then I must embrace it because I am so thankful for it. Thankful for this season, and I never want to have the attitude of wishing something away or changing something. And I feel like when we get frustrated at those babies and toddlers for just being their wonderful, beautiful baby toddler selves in the middle of homeschool, then that takes away from the whole essence of who we're raising them to be as well. So anyway, that's just something that's been on my heart a lot lately, is really coming to the full understanding of what these daily surrender and embracing the day that God has for us by the day, and to let go of the idea of what it might be. And that's the other thing too. I don't think there's anything wrong with having this picture or this dream of what we want our homeschool to be, because when we go through and we plan our homeschool year, you kind of have to have that family vision. And I've talked about, having that family vision a lot on my channel, because that's going to essentially be the guide for picking your curriculum, being like all the things. But it can also be a detriment to us sometimes too, because we have that vision and our goal, and if it doesn't go according to what we thought it would be, sometimes it can get, like I said, frustrating. So something that I'm just learning is just that, honestly, embracing daily surrender and realizing that it has nothing to do with, again, how my children are reacting, but how I am feeling on the inside. That has to do with that frustration, because it shouldn't have to be. So anyway, those are just some of my thoughts on homeschooling with babies and toddlers. It is such a blessing, guys, and one that I need to not take for granted, because what a privilege it is to steward these beautiful, beautiful children up to please and honor the Lord, which is why He gave us the children in the first place, and so we can guide them and lead them along the way. And it is such a beautiful, beautiful gift, and one that I, again, am so thankful for. I'm learning to embrace the hard parts a little bit better, in hopes to show God's love and grace to my children even more. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit of my thoughts on kind of homeschooling with a baby and toddler. Again, I will have the video that I was talking about before about some of my toddler's favorite activities that I do love using on the mornings that we are trying to get some homeschooling done, and we just need that extra fun thing that she loves doing. So I'll have that video linked down below. I am going to probably film another video, because as she's getting older, there's things that I'm intentionally doing as far as activities with my 3-year-old. So I'm going to be sharing those updated versions of those videos that I'm going to link down below in upcoming videos. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy watching those to see what some of our favorite activities are. But yeah, until then, I hope you guys have a great evening, and God bless. Bye.